Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this time following the vote on Homeland Security. I'm here with the House Democratic leadership to pay tribute to three of the leaders on this issue. Congressman Bennie Thompson, our ranking member on Homeland Security Committee, Congresswoman Nita Lowey, our ranking member on Appropriations, Congresswoman Lucille Roy Ball-Allard, who was our ranking member on the Homeland Security Subcommittee. They did great work explaining to our members why it was very important for us to stick together, to give us the leverage, to have the regular order yield to us the opportunity to have a vote today, which was a very, very strong message. It sent a message to our enemies, to American people, and to the workers in Homeland Security that we are there to keep the American people, to remove all doubt about our commitment to the Homeland Security of the United States. We're very proud of the vote that happened today, and in that spirit, I want to yield to our ranking member on the Homeland Security Committee, Mr. Bennie Thompson.
Thank you very much, Madam Leader. I think the question for a lot of us is, why did it take so long? We are very happy that today you saw the process work. It's unfortunate that the men and women who are in the Department of Homeland Security had to feel like their government did not care about them. Today, we put that to rest, but we also made a statement that we are here to keep America safe. It's unfortunate that it took us so long to get to this point. I'm happy about it. I want to thank our leadership for staying strong. We made it very clear Democrats care about the security of this country and American citizens.
As I yield to Congresswoman Nita Lowey, again our ranking member on the Appropriations Committee, the full committee, I want to also say that on the way here, Mr. Hoyer and I received a call from the Secretary of Homeland Security, Jay Johnson, where he was grateful for what had happened today, of course, but we thanked him for staying strong and being clear about why it was important for us to have the full funding bill until the end of the fiscal year. And nobody knows more about the Appropriations Committee and the fiscal year than Congresswoman Nita Lowey.
Well, thank you. And at the outset, I want to thank our courageous leader for working with all of us to finally get this bill passed. It's really quite extraordinary that it's taken this long. Way back in December, Appropriations and Republicans worked together and passed a good bipartisan Homeland Security bill. This was December, but better late than never. It's March. And now I'm very pleased that there was a bipartisan effort to pass this bill, and our firefighters, our police, our ports, TSA workers, all those who are critical to the safety of our country will get paid and be on duty. And I was very pleased that Secretary Johnson of the department walked around, talked to members, made it clear how important this bill and this funding is for the homeland security of our country. So congratulations again to Leader Pelosi and all those who worked together. Better late than never. Glad we passed this bill today. And now I'm very happy to turn the microphone over to the ranking member of the Homeland Security Subcommittee of Appropriations, Lucille Roy Ball-Allard.
Thank you so much. And I, too, want to thank our leader, Nancy Pelosi, Bennie Thompson, Nita Lowey, and Steny Hoyer, and all who helped to highlight just how important this bill was to pass. Today's passing of this bill is really a victory for the safety of the American people in this country. And we've all heard all the reasons why it was so important. But it is also important because now Secretary Johnson, his directors, his staff can go about the business of not only taking care of the security of our nation today, but planning for the security of the future. And the men and women who put themselves on the front lines every single day to protect our country can do so knowing that they don't have to worry whether or not they're going to be able to make their mortgage payment, put food on the table, and pay the bills. So once again, I just want to say thank you to the tremendous work of the leadership of the Democratic Party here in the House, to Secretary Johnson, who, as Nita Lowey said, was here talking to all the members, both sides of the aisle, to emphasize just how important this bill is. So now the people of the United States, everyone can feel confident that the Department of Homeland Security is now on the right track, both taking care of our security today and in the future.
Okay, no, you go. Okay. As some of our members, I want to commend all of the members of the leadership. We're going to hear from our distinguished whip right now, but we spent hours in the office on Friday on chocolate, strictly chocolate diet, so that we could have the energy to have the staying power to get through all the calls that it took to do this. And in the lead on all that was our distinguished whip, Mr. Hoyer.
Thank you, Madam Leader. There is a time to debate, and there is a time to decide. Today was a time to decide. The Senate had decided that it was time to decide, and today the House did as well. This means that over approximately 230,000 people who we ask daily to work for the federal government on behalf of America's security and the safety of our people will have the assurance for the next 7 months that they will have a funding stream and the resources to allow them to protect our country. I am glad that we came together on this bipartisan vote. Clearly there are differences. There are differences on immigration reform. We ought to put a bill on the floor on that subject and talk about it in a bipartisan way. Everybody says immigration is broken. Let's fix it. Let's put a bill on the floor, and we can do for immigration reform what we did today for the funding of Homeland Security. This is a good day for America. The Congress worked today. Let us hope we use this as an example for the Congress tomorrow and the days thereafter. Thank you very much.
We'll take a few questions.
Madam Leader, do you feel by providing the line?
You all let Chad just get in there. I mean,
I was pausing here.
Yeah, right.
With such a overwhelming vote by Democrats for this bill, do you feel in some ways that Democrats are holding all of the cards here, that you are in fact the de facto speaker these days anymore on these?
I'm going to tell you something. If there's ever an oxymoron, it's de facto speaker. You're the speaker or you're not. So let's not even go to that place. But I am proud of the Democrats, and let me tell you one other reason why. Because when the Republicans were putting out these bills to say we're going to keep government open for this 3 weeks, this or that, it's very hard for a member to vote against a bill that will keep the Homeland Security part of government open, unless you're seeing a longer view, a more enlightened view of what can be better in a matter of days. So the important thing for us was our members had the courage to say, I don't want government to be shut down, but I'm not falling for this 3-week plan, which really cripples the ability to plan for Homeland Security, even if it would keep government open for, in relationship to Homeland Security for 3 more days. So that's where our strength sprang from, was the unity of the House Democrats. It was also important to acknowledge the Senate. In a bipartisan way, they defeated the motion to go to, didn't give cloture to the motion to go to the conference, and they also defeated a motion to table, which enabled the bill to come back here when we were in disagreement, House and Senate, to enable us, Congresswoman Lowey and Congressman Simpson, to call the bill forward. And that was what we were depending on. So it wasn't about anybody giving us anything. It was about the regular order prevailing in the House of Representatives. So this was bipartisan in many respects.
Madam Leader, you were visibly agitated during the Prime Minister's speech, and obviously afterwards you...
Wait, excuse me, I'm happy to answer any, not happy, but I would be willing to answer any questions about the Prime Minister's speech, but first, can we deal with this, because this, as you recall, is important.
You know, we have some other big deadlines coming up where there's a highway bill, dock fix, debt ceiling. Are you offering to the Speaker of the House right now Democratic votes to get this?
Well, we can't offer anything until we see what the bill is, but I will say that highway infrastructure, that's never been partisan. We've always acted in a bipartisan way on infrastructure and the highway bill and all of those kinds of issues. It was only recent when, in opposition to President Obama, the Republicans did not support those initiatives. But hopefully we can come back to where we've always been. A committee, Transportation and Infrastructure has always been really a nonpartisan committee. I don't know if anyone else wants to speak to that.
I just want to say that 2/3 of the Senate and now the overwhelming members of the House decided this was the common sense right thing to do. On all those other bills, if we can come to agreement that this is the common sense right thing to do, I'm sure that Democrats and Republicans can vote together to do those kinds of things. That's what we want to do. That's what we came here to do.
I think it might be easier because 167 Republicans voted to keep government shut down of Homeland Security today. I think that's probably the high number. I think on issues like transportation, there might be more cooperation needed. Did you?
I was just going to mention something because it's so current. Rosa DeLauro is the ranking member of the committee that funds the National Institutes of Health and many other very vital programs. We had an excellent hearing this morning, and several of us referenced the time when John Porter, the Republican chair of the committee, worked with the Democrats, and we doubled the funding for the National Institutes of Health, helping to cure diseases, creating jobs, good for the economy. So I hope today's action, and frankly our hearing this morning, where there were many bipartisan positive comments, will lead to more cooperation, because that's what we're here for, rather than have all kinds of arguments about minutia. Let's get on to the important jobs ahead. Create jobs, strengthen the economy, get people well with these kinds of important investments.
But if your question is, do we stand ready to cooperate, we most certainly do. Thank you.
Do you have a comment on Netanyahu's speech?
I put out a statement.
Can you elaborate on why you were near tears?
I was near tears because I was now I'm just speaking for myself here, and others may have a different view of the speech. I was near tears because I love Israel very much. I value the importance of the relationship between Israel and the United States. My granddaughter was Esther in the Purim ceremony on Sunday at Jewish Community Center in San Francisco. This is something that means a great deal to us, not only as an issue, but as a value. And I thought that that part of that was undermined by the tone of this Prime Minister's speech. But why don't you just read my statement, okay?
Do you regret going?
No, I don't regret going. No, if I regret it, gone. If you can follow that.
Well, you didn't know what he was going to say.
No, well, it didn't matter. I went, I listened, I was disappointed. But I think that many of us have worked part of our official lives to stop nuclear proliferation. It's been it's a core principle of our foreign policy. And that's whether Israel never existed. I happen to think the establishment of the State of Israel was the greatest political accomplishment of the 20th century, a terrible century. That was a bright star. But even if Israel never existed, the United States of America has as one of the pillars of its national security and its foreign policy to stop the proliferation of weapons of mass destruction. And that's what we do. And that's what the President is doing in the negotiations. And if the deal isn't good enough, we won't accept it. I don't think we needed any lectures on that. But that's just my view.
Do you think he did irreparable harm to the relationship with the U.S.?
I hope not.
Thank you.
Thank you.